Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If this is the first time you guys are tuning in, welcome. Thanks for being here. My whole channel is dedicated to migraines. I get them. They suck. And I'm actually on a month off of work right now because of them. And I've been spending this whole month kind of learning about migraines, learning about my health, and it's been wonderful. So today's video will be a little bit of an update with what's been going on, as well as sort of my plans for moving forward in the future. I'm approaching the time when I'll be going back to work, so I need to kind of have a plan of attack for that and how I'm going to kind of deal. So yeah, that's kind of what today's video is going to be about. Let's get started. So a little quick update. When I started this channel, I initially told myself, oh, it'll be a daily video that I'll post. But damn it, it's a lot of work. Whether they're just little cell phone videos like this, or whether you set up a proper camera and kind of do it a little more legit, it's still a ton of work. And so what started as a hope and a dream to be a daily thing has now become more of like a weekly update, maybe a little bit more than that. So it's been a little while since I've posted. What's happened since then? So since I last posted, my last recap was basically my visit with my naturopath and the anti-inflammation diet she had put me on. So I've been continuing to do that. It's definitely been a bit of a struggle. It's a very restrictive diet. It's definitely not one that I'm meant to maintain for a long period of time, which is amazing because I don't know how it would be possible. Because it's very, very limited. As I chatted about in actually my last video, there's tons of stuff that I can't eat because it's causing some extra inflammation in my body. So the extra inflammation, along with a little bit of a hormonal imbalance, is what my naturopath kind of narrowed it down to as kind of the two sort of biggest reasons, triggers, whatever you want to call them, for my migraines. So I went 25 days without having a migraine, which for me is phenomenal, especially as of lately. I have gone in the past months and months and months without any migraines whatsoever. But for the past like 4 to 6 months, I've really been suffering with bad chronic migraines. So 2, 3, 4 a week sometimes. And it got to a point where I did have to take this time off of work. So this month off has been amazing, and I really learned a lot about my health and about migraines in general, and just the sheer volume of people I've met online and in my own community here in Kelowna that suffer with these migraines is just staggering. It really is. And what's also really shocking is just sort of the level of general lack of understanding from other people when it comes to what a migraine is. And it's not their fault. I'm by no means blaming anyone really for this. But there is a misconception that migraines are just a headache and you pop a Tylenol and drink some water and you feel better. For those of you watching my channel who suffer from migraines, obviously you guys know that that's not the case. So I suffer from hemiplegic migraines with transient aphasia, which is basically the medical term for migraines. And along with my migraines, I get an aura. And I also get some other sort of neurological things that happen. So tingling in my limbs, which I've mentioned in some previous videos, tingling in my lips and my face. And I'll get like weird sort of like stroke-like symptoms, which are very scary, especially for other people who are watching me or happen to be around when it happens. It can look pretty weird and pretty scary. And it feels pretty weird and it feels pretty scary. So, and transient aphasia, the second part of the term, is basically refers to when I have a migraine attack, I will lose words. So I'll have a hard time communicating with people because the words just don't come out right, or I can't think of the right word. And I still have that issue even outside of my migraines. I think it's all kind of related to it. I'm not just a dum-dum. I'm not forgetful. Regular common words will just disappear. So, yeah, so that's basically the type of migraine that I get. So anyway, 25 days I went migraine free. So I attribute that to a few things. The biggest thing for sure is just sort of a change in diet. Huge change in diet. So even before I saw the naturopath, I had already cut out a lot of processed food as well as sugar. So in this anti-inflammatory diet, I've definitely had to cut out sugar, had to cut out dairy, had to cut out most meat, and a lot of other things as well. So yay, went 25 days without a migraine, felt amazing. The naturopath did identify that I had a bit of a hormonal flux or imbalance or whatever you want to call it. She did say that I'm in a phase of life right now called perimenopause. So I've learned that there are other phases to hormones for women, specifically outside of what we normally think of, such as puberty and menopause, which honestly, before a month ago, were kind of all I was really aware of. I thought you come in one end and you go out the other. That's not necessarily the case. I shouldn't say necessarily. It isn't the case. There are quite a few sort of hormonal phases that women go throughout their life. And it turns out that I have just begun one. So yay me! It's called perimenopause, and it's basically the phase preceding menopause. So I'm not really anywhere near menopause yet, because these phases can last obviously years at a time. Typically about 7 years is what I've been told. So those two sort of issues, the inflammation that was going on in my body, hence the anti-inflammatory diet, as well as the hormonal imbalance, which is also being dealt with natural supplements. Those two things were kind of causing this uptake, I think, in my migraine frequency and severity prior to this month. So at the beginning of this month, when I made all the positive diet changes, I saw pretty immediate results. So as I said, 25 days migraine free. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how it used to be my regular pattern that after I would get a migraine, I would tell myself, great, never going to get a migraine again. That was awful. Glad it's never going to happen ever again. Obviously, that's not the case. Anyone who suffers from migraines know that it's very rare to kind of have a one-off. For somebody who will get one in their lifetime and never have one again, probably wasn't a migraine, is kind of what I'm gonna say. That's only anecdotal. I'm not basing that on anything, but most people that I've met who do suffer from real proper migraines have been suffering for a long time. Or it was after like a bad car accident or something like that. But for me, I've had them right since sort of puberty, which probably should have been my first indication that they were hormonally related. So anyway, went the 25 days without any migraines, but I was, believe it or not, looking forward to starting my time of the month. My lady time, because I wanted to see what that hormonal fluctuation would do. Would it bring on any migraines? What would happen? So last Sunday, I had a migraine. And I will say at first, it was very defeating. Because it felt like I had done all this work and I had done all this effort, and was it going to be for nothing? Here was a migraine again on my doorstep. So it started early in the morning. It actually woke me up. So when I opened my eyes, I was already sort of partway through the aura, which for anybody watching this who doesn't suffer from migraines, aura is sort of the visual disturbances that a lot of migraine sufferers will experience right immediately preceding the pain part of a headache. It is, however, possible to experience the aura and not get any pain whatsoever. There's even a term for it. They're called silent migraines. And I have experienced a couple. They're still just as debilitating because this weird visual disturbance that you get is very off-putting. It makes your whole sort of world feel off-kilter. It's like you've taken bad drugs and everyone's face looks like they're melting and it's awful. So, so woke up on Sunday morning with the aura portion of my migraine. I was due to start my time of the month on Sunday. So it's kind of lined up pretty well for me that was kind of to be expected. What was really going to be telling for me is whether they continued. So today is Tuesday, and I'm happy to report that I just had just that one. And to be honest, when I opened my eyes and I saw it, my heart sank. It's a really indescribable feeling, and I thought, oh God, here we go. I'm about to go back to work in like a little over a week, and my migraines are back. And it was really, really disheartening. However, no pain came. This one was a silent migraine, so just the aura. Had a little bit of pain, like a little bit of discomfort, but nothing compared to my usual episodes, my usual migraines. So I was pretty excited about that, to be honest, when Sunday night rolled around and I realized that I wasn't really in any pain and was feeling pretty good. I was feeling pretty good. That felt amazing to me. And when I woke up Monday morning, no migraine. And when I woke up this morning, no migraine. I can't tell you how good that felt. So what at first felt like a defeat, and I think that's more of like an emotional sort of training that I've gone through over the years of having migraines. I've trained myself, as bad as it sounds, but I've trained myself to be so hurt and so depressed when I get these migraines that it happens before I even have a chance to really think about it. So I felt that right away. I'll acknowledge that I felt awful. I felt super depressed. I felt like all of this work and all of this money and all of this time had been for nothing. Here I was again having migraines. But I picked myself up off the floor, kicked myself out of my own pity party, and moved on with my day, telling myself that it would be better. This is different. I'm different. My body's different. And let's move on. So, so I gotta say, I'm pretty happy. I'm a pretty happy girl. And today I had another really kind of cool appointment with my naturopath. So today's focus was a food sensitivity test. So they test for the top 50 sort of foods that people are most sensitive to. And out of the whole list, there was only 3 that I really need to avoid. 3? Yeah, let me get my little list here. So 2 of which actually aren't food, and I just had her test them anyway because they're common triggers for people with migraines. So the top 2 are sodium nitrate. So nitrates found in things like processed deli meats and bacon and hot dogs and all that kind of stuff. So nitrates also found in other stuff, but it's most commonly in those things. MSG. So we all know that this gross monosodium glutamate is not good for any of us, but damn it, it's in everything. And when you really start looking at all the sneaky names that they call it, it really is in almost everything. It's really hard to stay away from. But I am severely sensitive to sodium nitrate and MSG. And so the other one that was also severe on my list was white sugar. So I kind of like the sugar. I am more of a salty sort of taste bud person, but I do like my sweets too. I've been very successful over these last 3 weeks of cutting sugar out. I have had obviously some sugar here and there, but for the most part, it's been kicked out of my life. So those 3 things I have to really, really stay away from, basically at all costs. There was one item that I was moderately sensitive to. I don't see. There goes a word. And it's corn. So corn was already removed from my diet for the anti-inflammatory guidelines that my naturopath put me on. And because corn is, when you really start looking into it, it's like the most GMO food on the market. It's nasty. So corn gotta go, which means popcorn too. And I do love popcorn, but can't have it because I can't be having migraines all the time. That's just no way to live. And there was a few other things. Some things on there kind of surprised me that I wasn't sensitive to. So milk, like milk, dairy products, cheese, and things like that, not sensitive to, interestingly enough. Other stuff that I was surprised by, there was another one on here too that I was kind of surprised by. Gone. I don't know where it's gone. Anyway, so, and one of the other things that I was fairly sensitive to was, now where did it go? This sheet is kind of hard to read. Oh, was wheat and gluten and things like that. So I have already cut that out of my diet as well as part of the anti-inflammatory diet. And that one kind of makes sense to me because my dad is gluten intolerant and wheat intolerant. He's not celiac by any stretch of the imagination, but he doesn't eat it and feels a lot better for it. So that kind of sounds like that's the path I'm going to be going down. So that is the update for today, pretty much, is just that I had the migraine, could have let it defeat me, but I didn't. Obviously, it's mind over matter when it comes to how you feel about it. I know, believe me, I know. I have been through those clusters of migraines and they are awful. And when you get to like day 7, day 8, day 9, and you're still experiencing it, it can be extremely breaking. It's, even for a strong person, it feels awful to be living that way, and it's not really even living as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's the update for today. I have a lot more to say, but I don't want these videos to get crazy long. So I'm going to try and post another one tomorrow, and we'll see where we go. In the meantime, I hope you guys are all having a great migraine-free day. And don't forget to ask lots of questions when you're at either your GP or your naturopath, and find the solution that's right for you. Don't just take the pills that the doctor gives you because that's what he gives you. Because to be honest, they're doing the best that they can. But from what I've noticed, a lot of the research around migraines is really old. It's like 1980s, 1990s. And that makes me feel old because I'm from the 1980s. But it is. It's really old and it's outdated. And a lot of the information needs to be updated. So just do your research. Try and talk to other people, see what's worked for them, read lots of articles online, make sure they're reputable, and not just some crazy person's blog, which is what you're watching right now, basically. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. I'll try and get back to them as quickly as possible. Otherwise, if you have topics that you want me to talk about and cover, because I am kind of getting to that point where I feel like I've gotten my migraines a little bit under control, at least, I'm going to start moving on to some other topics that are still pertinent to migraine sufferers. So big one that I'm probably going to try and tackle tomorrow is, this sounds like I'm like a doctor or something, but I'm going to talk about the difference between vasodilation and vasoconstriction in a migraine. So it's been commonly accepted that migraines are a vascular disorder, and specifically an overdilation of the vessels around your brain, your blood vessels around your brain. There's some pretty new evidence to suggest that it's not solely a vascular disorder. And I want to talk a little bit about that. And what was the other topic I wanted to talk about? I think that was pretty much it. That was sort of on my hit list. So yeah, if you guys have questions or topics you want me to talk about or research for you, by all means, leave them in the comment box. Until then, I hope you're having a migraine-free day. Peace.